hours, exactly.
Great. So I'm calling this meeting to order at 6:21. Thank you all for being here. We had some informal conversation beforehand. So when we get to those parts of the agenda, I'm just going to run through them very quickly.
Yeah, sounds good.
Yeah. Robin, are there any citizens' comments?
No citizens' comments.
And can you just confirm for us that you're the person who receives the CRB emails?
Yes.
And that, yeah, go ahead.
That is standard amongst all the library municipal advisory boards. So the staff liaison gets the emails just as a matter of consistency. And when you asked me about it, I went back and checked and see what the emails I received for the last year, 17 of them were requests to join the Residence Academy. One was somebody interested in the CRB, and one was somebody complaining that the veterans banners had not been put up on Washington Road during construction. So that's the kind of stuff we get.
Yeah. Great.
We get referrals. Usually referrals for Margaret's mediations come to my email directly, like Rodney in planning or no permitting, inspection permits, yeah, or the fire department or the police department. We'll just give them my email address and they send it directly to me, and then I pass to Margaret.
Does anyone have any questions for Robin about how that citizens' comments are received? Great. Well, thank you very much for that. Is there a motion to approve the April 2023 minutes?
Motion to approve.
Adam moves. Is there a second?
Second.
Olivia seconds. Is there any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed? That motion passes. Thank you. Okay, for administrative reports, thank you for everyone who sat down with and met with me just to talk about priorities for the CRB over the next year. What I heard is for us to continue our citizens mediations, the Citizens Academy, the Citizens Service Award, and in DEI to generally have 3 areas that we're focusing on, and eventually we'll appoint some working groups to be working on these events, training for municipal officials and maybe staff, and then police partnership. In the police partnership, as I mentioned earlier, Jerome, Joelle, Livia, and Terry already have a meeting scheduled, and then they're meeting with Chief Haberman on May 17th for just some preliminary informal conversations. Any questions for me, or anyone have something to add on those focus areas? Great. Anne, can you go next?
Yeah, which one am I?
Your commission liaison.
Oh, my commission liaison. Oops. I'm sorry. I've been out canvassing a lot. You know, I have so many things running through my head with people's complaints, and some of them are just kind of bizarre, and some of them make a lot of sense. So, commission liaison. Right now, the commission is focusing on brick streets. We've had a brick street policy that we've been trying to pass. I think I heard last night it had been 6 years. 2016. Yeah, that this has been up. And it is proving to be difficult because brick streets are historic. They're part of our history. They really speak to why Mount Lebanon was formed. They're also like 3 times as expensive, 3 or 4 times more expensive than asphalt when you replace streets. So, you know, when you're trying to be fiscally responsible, replacing brick with brick doesn't feel very responsible, and yet it's our history, so shouldn't we save it? So this has brought lots and lots of arguments, and I'm really the one who's most adamant about saving it. I'll just own that right here now. So you guys can fight with me about it if you want. Okay. What else? Plant sale is this Saturday. We have a good, well, I'm gonna take your, no, you
Go ahead.
report on
You say
your
whatever.
stuff at the library. Because it's Jewish Heritage Month and Pan Asian American Month, Heritage
I
Month.
appreciate you saying that at the commission meeting. Leslie,
Yeah.
Very much.
Yeah, and it's, but you can talk about it in a minute, because I haven't been to see it yet. What else am I missing, Laura?
May is National Mental Health Month.
Oh,
Just
yes.
reminding people about
And
outreach.
yes, and the thing to know is tomorrow, Dan Miller is having his 10th
Disability summit.
Disability and Mental Health Summit. It's gonna be at Bethel. It starts in the morning at 9 a.m., I believe. Anybody can go. I am planning on at least stopping in, primarily because we have some mental health issues in our neighborhoods. And we don't actually, it's dropped between the cracks because we can't do anything as a municipality. The county isn't doing anything, so I'm gonna go and try to find out what's going on a little bit. That's well worth your time, especially if you have somebody in your family that is disabled and you want to know about services. Anything else I'm missing? Wait, you know what? With me. I brought this with me. Okay, election day is Tuesday, May 17th. 16th, okay. And reminding everyone last night that Mount Lebanon ordinances, you can't place any signs in public areas, including parks, traffic islands, utility poles, or intersections. None of my signs are placed illegally. Vibrant Uptown is almost done. It should be, the contractor is promising June 10th. If I were a betting woman, and I'm not a gambler, but if I were a betting woman, I'd say July. But we're getting there. It's really moving forward, okay? Uptown Farmers Market starts Saturday, and Lou the Pie Guy will be there, and Lou the Pie Guy is the best. So really, you buy little ones, and they aren't as caloric as the big ones. My hint for the day. That's it. I think that's it.
Yeah. I had one, I don't know if it be this, I'm jumping agenda here at all, but you brought up the farmer's market, and that's one thing we had talked about with tabling. No,
Yeah.
is this the time to get into it now, or is it for later in the?
Let's do it under new business when we talk about tabling.
Okay, perfect.
Great. Great. Thank you, Ann.
When signs are in a public way, the police remove them. And I drove by an intersection where I had seen a couple, not mine, but somebody else's, and they were gone today. Because my husband immediately said, look, they took the signs. I said, yeah, they do.
It's not just election signs either.
Yeah.
We had Love Your Library Month signs accidentally in front of one of the parks.
Yeah.
And we got yelled at last
Yeah.
year.
Yeah, it's any sign.
It's only fair. It has to be.
It has to be
It's not
everybody.
it.
That's right,
It's
it
not-
does. You can't, as the government, it has to be everybody. You have to be fair. And fair being everybody under the same rules.
The government can't tell you to love your life.
That's right. That's right. Or to love your neighbor, which is. what
But
we
sometimes it's challenging to, like, our inspectors take them down too, and sometimes they have to take property surveys with them. Because if you have an intersection, you have private property that's behind it, it may look like it's in the intersection, but if you pull signs off of somebody's private property, you're stealing. So they have to make sure that they're really only removing things that they can remove. So
Yeah.
sometimes it's not as clear cut, so.
Sure, yeah, yeah.
Laura? You have a report, administrative report.
Laura?
I'm
Laura.
sorry. So the story of Patty Cook, the Community Service Award winner, is in the June magazine.
Yay.
We did, it's a cute story. She sounds like such a lovely woman. We did have to bump the Turkish refugee story to July, August, because we couldn't get the photos because of Ramadan. So we hadn't really thought that, so we were a little bit delayed on that, but that's fine. That's going to be a great story. So that will be in the July, August issue. Oh, I really have.
Thank you. Robin?
Yeah, like Dan said, we have a bunch of great displays at the library. As always, my staff is really good about that. And we do our best to cover all of the different heritages and celebrations. And, you know, you're never going to get every single one, but we do our best. So we do have the Asian Pacific Islander Asian Pacific American Heritage Month display. We have one about the Pulitzer Prize winners right now. We have one about mental health awareness month, one about the Jewish American Heritage Month. There are always at least half a dozen, so we have a lot going on right now with that. As I mentioned before, our plant sale is this Saturday, May 13th from 10 to 2. Next Tuesday, we're getting our 24/7 holds lockers installed. Everything goes well. So you'll be able to place a hold and pick it up at the library anytime. So that's exciting. And I had one more thing, but now I don't remember. So that's good for me.
We do have our first Jewish commission president and our first Jewish police chief in Mount Lebanon right now. Just.
That's important.
and
Love it.
I like it.
Great, thank you.
Hmm.
Karina, do you have anything for us?
I do. So we've been pretty busy at the school lately. We've had an art show. We have the musical. This week we have a fashion show coming up. Then we'll have dance showcases in the coming weeks. For Asian American and Pacific Islander Heritage Month, they've been doing something on the announcements every day to talk about like an important historic figures. They've been doing that. They did that for Black History Month as well. There have been new efforts to help with mental health. There was like a breakfast with like donuts to help people get to know each other and make new friends. There have been lunches that people can come in every Tuesday at lunch and learn a little bit about mental health and things like that. And one of the teachers is planning also to have like some sort of booth where people can like talk to each other and meet new people. So there are definitely some more efforts going towards mental health.
Positive.
That's important work, important.
Yeah.
And Asian American Heritage Month, is there a group that's organizing that?
I'm not entirely sure. I know that it's on the morning announcement, so I'm not sure if it's
Okay.
like the morning announcement people doing it or if there's a club doing it.
Okay.
I would like to say too, I think this is Karina and Luke's last meeting before they graduate. Is that right?
It's the end of the semester.
Yep,
Yeah,
end of the
so-
semester. Wow.
Thank you.
Well, thank you, Karina.
Thank you. I'm sorry my attendance has not been great. I've had a lot of crazy stuff happen this year.
Well, your contribution is valued, and having the connection to what's going on at the schools is really important for us to be knowing and aware and involved. So, thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you.
If you could spread the word, the applications are posted on the website for junior board members and junior commissioners. Those applications are due in July. I always try to push it now though, because once the teachers leave, it can be hard to get those letters of recommendation. But if you could put in a good word, say you enjoyed it,
Yeah,
maybe
for sure.
some applications, we'd appreciate it.
Yeah, for sure I will. Thank you.
What's your plan for next year?
I'm going to college, so I'm going to a college called Earlham College in Indiana.
Great,
So I can take my horse with me.
Yeah, wow. That's good.
be fun.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Karina.
Okay, I'm going to move on to continuing business. The DEI initiative. I mentioned some things earlier, and we'll talk about more during the new business. Does anyone have anything to add about for DEI?
Well, I have not pulled my group together yet for events. For that, I
Mhm.
apologize. However, I have done some background work with staff because I did not realize that there had been some discussion with our solicitor about events that the town or the municipality sponsors versus an independent group sponsoring.
Mhm.
So, and it's the same kind of thing with same, what's the word I want? Issue you hear all the time that we have to be fair. So that's the emphasis is more on trying to find ways to partner with other 501c3s or other organizations that are doing some of these things. So that it's not sponsored by the municipality, certainly allowed and supported, et cetera, but not sponsored because we don't want to get in the position of having to sponsor groups that we don't want. Now, that being said, we're actually looking at, as a commission, we're looking at the possibility of doing a flag policy. This became a real discussion with Lebo Pride about having their flag on our flagpole. And again, if we allow Lebo Pride to do it, then if the Proud Boys, God forbid, pardon me, were to want to do it, we apparently have to allow them as well. The way around it, or the way to solve that, is to have an actual policy that spells out how we allow it, when we allow it, the whole process. So we're beginning to work on that, and I can see that we could possibly extend that to also the kinds of events that we sponsor. Right now, we only sponsor things that are community-wide.
Yeah.
That makes sense, everybody?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's you know, we do, you know, Veterans Day and Memorial Day, you know, what would it be like to do MLK Day as well? You know, and I know that in various ways, the, you know, Veterans Day and Memorial Day have been also using other community partners in organizing that. You know, the Veterans Breakfast Club has been helpful in organizing those in the past. There's other, you know, municipal participants in that. You know, what would it look like to have CRB take the lead in helping to organize, you know, MLK Day?
So I
So,
see no problem with MLK Day, Noah, because it's a national holiday. So is Veterans Day, so is Memorial Day.
Yeah.
Pardon me. So those are all okay. It's more, you know, Lebo Pride is now their own 501.
Yeah.
And we are working with Lebo Pride and delighted to do so, and also delighted that they are their own organization. So it's not sponsored by us, and yet we're partnering with them to pull it off.
Yeah.
It's nuanced, but.
Yeah, I mean, I think one of the things that we've gotten stuck on with as we talk about events, is we've been talking about events in this sort of general category versus saying these are some specific events that other groups don't seem to be doing, and it's important for our community. So how can we be catalytic in helping to organize?
Right, and those are perfect words. I agree with that 100%. How can we be catalytic? And in my discussions with Keith about events, he's on the same page on that same way. You know, how can we be catalytic? How can we get other groups, other people in the community to sponsor some of these things? But I will pull the committee together this month, I promise.
Thank you. And on that, Laura, you know, the municipality did a great job in helping to promote Earth Day, which was sponsored by an independent group. Is there plans for Lebo Pride or Juneteenth of there being, you know, Lebo alerts about those events?
No, we have some involvement in Earth Day because we have the sustainability efforts within the municipality, things we're actually doing. We gave very little PR to them. We gave them some magazine coverage and a couple Facebook posts, again, because they're more closely tied with the municipality. With external nonprofits, we don't really give publicity other than the magazine. So we have written about Lebo Pride and Juneteenth in the magazine, but we don't, unless they're partner organizations of ours. So Outreach, the Historical Society of Mount Lebanon receive funding from the municipality. So we promote their things for them in a limited way. So much in the same way that Anne said, if we would promote Lebo Pride, then somebody else would say, well, we're a nonprofit, why aren't you supporting our thing? So we have to be very careful. We're more tied to Earth Day because, again, we have sustainability efforts. We had a table there where we were promoting our sustainability efforts and things that the municipality was doing.
So what would I don't want to be like, you know, parsing these things out. But you know, if the CRB is involved in diversity efforts and having a presence at Lebo Pride, does that allow a Lebo alert to go out about that event?
I don't know.
No, the Lebo alerts are the only Lebo alerts that go out are events that we as a government sponsor.
Yeah.
Unless there is a traffic issue. So for example, we sent one out about Martha's Run because the streets were closed. We'll send one out for the run through the woods that Hoover's doing because the streets are going to be closed. But we don't do promotional activities through the Lebo alert system because it's funded by taxpayers for things that are not municipal events.
But you did for Earth Day.
Lebo Pride. Would that be something to let people know?
We'd have to do a Lebo alert every time they were closed. I mean, it's closed for all sorts of things. So
Okay.
yeah, no. Like major disruptions, like the
Yeah.
kind of things that somebody's calling their commissioner saying, I can't get out of my neighborhood. You know, another example is St. Bernard's does their, St. Michael the Archangel does their ceremonial thing that closes part of Washington Road. So even though that's not a municipal event, we put on Lebo alert 'cause that's a safety concern and a road closure event. So no, we have not been authorized to promote non-municipal events using municipal channels. So again, the 710, our push newsletters are only for municipal events. If they decided to change that, we would have to come up with some sort of policy because again, what nonprofits would we then allow to be handled in that way?
Right.
So, but the magazine is different. The magazine's edict is community involvement. We promote all kinds of nonprofits in the magazine.
Anyone have questions about that right now?
No, I mean, I don't, but I'll tell you what, no, my opinion is, as you know, I always have to have an opinion. I want to see us get this flag policy first.
Mhm.
And then I think that we ought to talk commission-wide about an events policy. Because I think it feels muddy to everybody and it's not fair for staff to have to take the blame or the, pushback when, we're the ones who make the policy. So I can see us going from the flag to events. And then at some point talking further down the line about how we promote things, but you can't bite off more than we can chew. Only so much we can do at a time.
So know that we will be a partner in that conversation.
Yes, I do know that.
Yeah.
I'm grateful for that, actually.
Yeah,
because
I
think you
mean-
bring a different perspective to it, and it would be interesting for the commission to hear it. These are
Mhm.
dicey issues, as you know, and are very aware of, so I'm always happy to have, your input or anybody else on the committee.
Yeah,
I wanna take-
having a goal, and eventually next year, this board becomes community engagement. I mean, that's the goal of engaging the community. All these questions come up.
Yes.
How are we using our tools to be able to have a more engaged community?
Yeah, right on. I want to take the onus off staff though, because I think it's, it really is up to the commission to
Mhm.
tackle some of these thorny subjects. It's not fair for them to have to, they already do a great job for the citizens of Mount Lebanon and work very hard to do so. So I'll take any blame you want to throw my way. See if we can move forward.
Right, thank you. Okay, so CRB magazine column. I mean, Laura's already told us about magazine things that are coming up. Citizen mediations. Margaret is happy to continue that, and also it would be great to have someone who is sort of a second chair to that, learning about the excellent work that she does, and also if we did have more that could share a load. So if that is something that interests you, let me know or let Margaret know, and we can. It's about 6 hours of training to do that. Stephanie's asked us to skip Residence Academy, but I believe she and Adam will be taking the lead with all of our help in that for next year. And Citizen Service Award. thanks Laura for telling us about it being announced in the next month. So.
The only other thing you have to decide is the plaque needs to be updated with her name. You can either choose to wait until you have next year's name and take it and have both names done, or somebody can take it now. It's up to you, however you want to handle it.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, great. We'll figure that out. Thank you.
I have a question before we
Yeah.
proceed. Maybe that falls under the DNI initiative, related to training. Is there any follow-up from Mr. McGill as far as his take on the curriculum, the syllabus that I put together? Is there a meeting that you recommend us having, since it's been a while and probably not so much fresh in his mind? I mean, what can the CRB do to assist with that specific leg of training for the municipality on DNI topics?
The commission, excuse me, Mr. McGill at this point, and I am uncomfortable speaking for him. However, he is not at this juncture wanting to do any more DEI training than is currently being done. There is current training going on fairly frequently with township or municipal employees. He feels that is his purview to choose what training does get done and how it gets done. The current HR director is not anticipated to be in that position forever, as I've shared with you, that person has discussed possibly retiring fairly in the next couple of years. I think that is when your opportunity is to see if that can be shifted to more DEI training. I cannot compel Mr. McGill to do something with his employees unless he's a willing partner. And at this point, if the HR person is not all that willing or comfortable with it, he is not either. He would like to put that on in a parking lot, so to speak, or on the back burner.
I would say that we talked about this at our
Yeah.
meeting the other day, that most of us within our specific departments and professional organizations do undergo DEI training,
Right.
like at the library association conferences, at the police department conferences,
Right.
at the different things like that. So we are getting DEI training, just not specifically within the municipality.
Right.
So to move to Olivia, thanks for asking the question. And now we have it on record. And as we move into new business, if we're ready, I'm going to go to working group organization, and we can cycle back to the outreach education opportunities, because it follows right up on this. In our preliminary conversation, I mentioned that there was, from our conversations, my one-on-one conversations with people, there was sort of three focus areas that I was hearing for our DEI work. One is the police partnership, and Jerome, Joelle, Olivia, and Terry are planning to have a preliminary conversation with Chief Haberman on the 17th of May. And the other two pieces are events, which we're having these conversations right now about, and also training. And my suggestion on the training is that we focus on training of municipal boards. And then when the opportunity arises, we come back and have the conversation about training of staff.
Makes sense.
So that said, would this group be comfortable voting on establishing 3 working groups, training, police partnership, and outreach and events?
Events, yeah.
Yeah, I'm comfortable with that.
Okay. We move it. Stephanie, did you just say something?
Oh, yes, I'm good.
Okay, great. So would someone make a motion to establish those 3 working groups?
I'll motion to establish them.
I second.
Livia second. All in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed? Great, thank you. So the police working group is populated by Jerome, Joelle, Livia, and Terry. If you'd like to be part of the training group, please let me know. And I also want to reach out to some of the people who are not on this call right now, who expressed interest in that. And events, we have a preliminary group that's planning to meet with Anne. And so after that meeting, we can decide whether that's the events working group or we have another, or we'll populate it otherwise. But we need to keep our working groups to 4 people. So with them, all of them reporting back. So starting next meeting, each working group will have an agenda item on the agenda to report back their work. Sound okay? Great.
Sounds good.
Thank you. And then last, we have the outreach opportunities at Lebo Pride and Juneteenth, having a table at Lebo Pride, and some of us should go to Juneteenth. I do not believe there's tables there at that event. But is there anyone right now who knows that they are available on June 17th and would like to be involved in tabling at Lebo Pride?
I'm planning on being there, so I'll certainly, be around for part of it.
You've got to work the crowd too.
I gotta work the crowd too. I was gonna say, I gotta work the crowd too, so I can kind of float in and out. I'll bring the candy that you can pass out, It's like throwing it from a float, right?
And I know Joelle and Stephanie are running the event.
Yes, Joelle and Stephanie.
Yeah. So is anyone else going to be there? I can reach out to people who are not on this call too.
I'd like to be there, and I will do my best to confirm when I can that I will be there.
Okay.
I'm on the same page. What is the date again, Steph?
Saturday, June 17th.
Okay, thank you. I'll confirm by today.
Okay. Yeah. Let me know. And I have some ideas for what the table can look like, but we should have a group of 4 plan what that table looks like. I'm not available that day, but I can prepare material. I can prepare materials for the event. So. Okay, great.
So to be clear on the events group, Noah, that we still have to establish the members of that because that group would apply to more than just Pride. So we still have to establish that working group too.
So the meeting that Anne said she'd pull together with municipal staff to clarify some of these issues we have right now, and then we can flesh out what we can work on, is Leah, Joelle, me, and Stephanie.
Okay, great. Gotcha.
So that's those 4. And then after that meeting, we can see whether we're going to become the group or we're going to switch some membership.
Yep.
So,
okay, understood. Makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyone else have anything else they want to add? This has been an express meeting. Thank you all with a disjointed nature for hanging in there. So our next meeting is on June 14th at 6 p.m.
Oh, I'm sorry. I forgot to mention the farmers markets. So Noah and I had talked about and talking about tabling, thinking of participating in farmers markets in the same kind of way, that whether it's survey results or just gaining community input, citizens comments, those kinds of things, maybe that we would be able to field at both the Uptown Farmers Market and the Lions Farmers Market on Saturday and Wednesdays respectively. And so my plan is to reach out to them to discuss the potential of us tabling once a month at each of those, and they're each weekly events. So I think once a month is something that it would be reasonable for us as a CRB to hopefully commit to at least one, if not both of those farmers markets. So I don't know if we've done that in the past before, but I just bring that up to see if there are relationships that people have on this call with people that would run those things so that I can best direct my attention.
Eric. So Eric Milliron is the staff liaison to the partnership who runs the Uptown Market. I will tell you for your consideration, the second Saturday market of every month is a bigger market. They have live music and they tend to get bigger crowds on that second Saturday. So, but you can reach out to Eric. His email is emilliron, EMILLIRON @mtlebanon.org. And he's very responsive and he'll connect you with the partnership person that actually handles the tables.
Oh, great. And do we know, because I know I'm not having reached out to Eric yet, but would fees be waived, I assume, for our tabling, or would we be expected to have that? And if so, would that be something that we need to vote on? I'm assume so.
I don't even know that there's a fee because you're not selling anything. So
Right, I
would
know. I
check
just didn't know if
with
there's a
him.
fee for tabling.
Yeah, I think you might be all right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you, Adam, for doing that research. And I think once we figure out like a table thing that we do, we can then take that show on the road.
Agreed.
Great.
All right, that's the agenda. Is there a motion to adjourn?
The Lions Club. Here's your contact for the Lions Farmers Market.
Depend on, we had a meeting today.
Oh, Robin's on that committee.
President of the Lions.
I am the
Oh,
president.
okay.
Or email Adam with the market coordinators and they can let you know about logistics.
Okay, perfect. Thank you, Rob.
Great.
Thank you.
I just thought you were a eager Mount Lebanon resident. I did not realize in seeing you there that you were a Lions Club member.
I am a Lions Club member. I'm a Rotarian. I am a member of Mount Lebanon Newcomers and Neighbors. I am a Mount Lebanon resident and an Ohio resident. So I'm everywhere.
Multicultural.
Something like that.
Wow.
Yeah, Appalachian, exactly. Yeah.
And it doesn't have to be in the minutes, but I had yet to mention how awesome the Colson Whitehead thing was.
Oh, thank you. Thank
Just
you.
Yeah.
wanted to shout that out because it was really cool
It was
events.
great
Cool
to
to
see
see so
somebody
many
be there.
Is there a motion to adjourn the meeting?
I'll motion to adjourn.
Second.
Olivia seconds. All in favor? Aye. Anyone? Great. Thank you all, and let me know if you can do the table at Pride.
Yeah.
Yep, we'll do.
Thank you, everybody.
Bye.
Bye, Karina.
Bye.
Bye.